Hello, good evening. The government has tonight announced that more than £30 million will be spent on improving roads in the south. Hampshire will receive the biggest slice of more than £15 million, while East Sussex gets £6 million. Transport Secretary Cecil Parkinson said grants of £233 million will help 70 major road schemes in Britain. 2 houses in Bournemouth are being shored up tonight after a stolen car crashed into them. The incident happened in Benyon Road and police say the driver ran off after the incident. Residents in the south have spent the day clearing up after a weekend of floods. Lymington faced the worst of the storm. The water in the streets reached 5 feet in places and many people were stranded indoors. Experts say the flooding is the worst since 1916 and the cost of repairs will run into millions.
Cocktail cabinet and china cabinet.
Yes, they're all right off, I would say.
All the kitchen units.
Can't see the seawater in all these things, you know, what you can do much about.
In the garage, a freezer, a washing machine full of water, you know.
This wall was the problem. Water flooded in round the edges. About 200 yards of her spit has been lost. It'll cost around £100,000 to repair. And Portland in Dorset was cut off from the mainland. While in Berkshire, 4 cars were swept away trying to cross the flooded River Loddon. This Astra van was carried several hundred yards downstream from the ford near Twyford. Firemen using a boat rescued the driver, but farmers made a good living pulling cars out of the river. Army ambulances have tonight been brought onto the streets of Dorset, and bosses have cut off ex-directory phone lines to ambulance stations after the public were told to ring them directly. Guy Phillips reports.
Army ambulances are now a familiar sight on the streets of London, but never before have they been seen in Dorset. They're being brought in tonight because ambulance chiefs say full-time crews aren't providing a reliable 999 service. But union officials claim the troops aren't qualified to do the job.
They've not been trained up to it, they don't have the expertise, so how can the Army provide an alternative, reasonable, acceptable level of service?
At the end of the day, when things get this bad, there is only one question that has to be asked, and that is what action is needed to be taken to secure the emergency service for the public. And measured against that question, it's undoubtedly the right decision.
Both sides of this dispute are now digging in for Christmas, and as calls are made around the country for an all-out strike, a settlement, it seems, is still a long way off.
One of the South's biggest developers, the Dunning Group of Weyhill near Andover, have called in the receivers. The builders, founded more than 70 years ago, blame their cash crisis on their recent involvement in the multi-million-pound Town Quay development in Southampton. The group's chairman said matters were brought to a head when Associated British Ports suddenly withdrew from a purchase. It would have realised around £14 million, but he hopes the business can still survive. Police frogmen have been searching gravel pits near Warminster in Wiltshire today for the missing woman, Ruth Stevens. It's now 6 days since she disappeared, and despite 70 calls from the public, detectives have few positive leads to work on. Fears are growing that 33-year-old Ruth has been abducted. Tomorrow, a week after her disappearance, a young policewoman will trace her last known movements in an attempt to jog someone's memory. A pink Malican cockatoo in a zoo at Farnham is pining for his pal who's been stolen. This empty cage is where Wally the cockatoo lived till thieves took him early this morning. Staff at Birdworld say Wally is very noisy and will bite his kidnappers. He's said to be a very rare species. Now for a look at the weather picture for tonight and tomorrow, we join Carl Tyler.
Good evening. Well, those winds are going to freshen up from the northwest round about midnight, blowing what's left of the rain away, and then the night dry. Your lowest temperatures, Dorset and Wiltshire, down to freezing, so watch out for some icy stretches on the roads round dawn. Now, if you have a look at the chart for noon tomorrow, you can see the front bringing tonight's rain, pushing away, ridge of high pressure set there, so that bears well for some sunshine, but there's more rain to come late in the evening. Tomorrow morning then, certainly could well be some cloud, Surrey, Berkshire, Sussex, just to start with, and then brightening up, a good deal of sunshine. For the afternoon, it's sunny spells and perhaps 1 or 2 light showers. Your best temperatures are cool 8, that's 46 degrees Fahrenheit. So, to summarise then, there'll be sunny spells, it'll be a cooler day, more rain for late evening.
That's all the TVS News from the South from the newsroom. There'll be more from us at 9:55 tomorrow. Hope you can join us then. Good night.